Welcome to Living in Grace. We are in Romans chapter 5 and verse 9 that says, since we have now been justified by his blood, which I told that in earlier weeks in Romans chapter 3. So we're justified just as if we never sinned through the blood of Christ. How much more shall we be saved from God's wrath through him? Well, that's what I taught yesterday, so I'm not going to go back and reiterate myself. I just want you to see Paul here is this repeating himself, and it's important to see how Paul is repetitive, and that's for our safeguard. For if when we were God's enemies, we were reconciled to him through the death of his Son, how much more, having been reconciled, shall we be saved through his life? So not only through his death, we have received this reconciliation while we're enemies, but now through his life and the life that we have in him, that we're saved through it. Not only is this so, but we also rejoice. Here it is again, the third time. We boast in God through our Lord Jesus Christ, through whom we have now received reconciliation. So here, if we're going to boast, if we're going to be prideful, and man, just to talk about how awesome things are, let's boast about God. No, let's not boast about a church or a denomination or even a ministry. But let's boast about, look what God has done. Look what God is doing. Look what this work of reconciliation. Let's boast about God through Jesus, in which we have now been reconciled to him, in which we have now been united with him. You see, Corinthians, Paul teaches this, that he who is joined to the Lord is one with him. That's amazing. That we were enemies with God, but through Christ we've been reconciled. And through this reconciliation, we have a ministry now of reconciliation. We have a responsibility now. That I have been reconciled to God, and now our responsibility and your responsibility is to share this, to boast about what God has done, and go and reconcile others to God. You see, everyone, every believer who's been reconciled to God, you and I, we have this ministry of reconciliation. We have this ministry to go and boast about what God has done. Not boast about how good I am or how righteous I am or how great I am. No. I'm going to boast in how good God is. I'm going to boast in how righteous God is. I'm going to boast in how amazing God is. I'm going to boast in how holy God is. I'm going to boast in how incredible God is. Let's boast in this and do this ministry of reconciliation. Partners, we are living in grace.